Hello, thanks for tuning in. My name is Janetta from Nex-Gen Farm, and we are going through our How to Buy Beef from Your Local Farmer guidebook and helping to explain to make it a little bit less stressful on you for the first time you want to talk to a local farmer to buy beef. In this video, we're going to go over what your quarter, if you are to buy a quarter, how that will be broken down, and also the different packaging that is offered. Typically, the first time somebody buys beef from local farmer, we are talking to them about buying a quarter. A quarter is a little bit more than what your regular household freezer can fit, but it's what a lot of people are looking for because they have extra freezer space in their garage or wherever they have the extra freezer space, and they want to order that larger amount than what will fit because they want to make it last and get the most most value for their money. Each quarter is divided. Customer will get an equal share of both the front and the rear quarter of the cow. So we've got a couple of visuals that we tried to create to help explain this a little bit better than what my words will. But as the half of a cow is cut up, and we're going to get 2 quarters out of each half of a cow, so 4 quarters in all, of course. Each of the sections of that half, like let's say for example the left half, would be divided so half of those cuts would go to customer A and half of those cuts would go to customer B. This would require both of those customers ordering similar or same cut specifications so that as you're breaking up those quarters into 2 different orders, that it's equal share in that way. So both cuts with a mix, so when ordering a mixed quarter, both of those customers, customer A and customer B, would get a variety of cuts from each of the sections. And the different sections of a cow are the chuck, rib, loin, round, flank, short plate, and brisket. So that is what we call a mixed quarter. This way, each customer will get an equal amount of chuck steaks or roasts or whatever it is, however they have the chuck cut up, equal amount of rib steaks or roast, whatever they have, however they have that cut up, equal amount of loins, steaks or roast from the loin, again from the round, flank, short plate, and brisket. So that is what we want with our customers, is to make sure that they feel comfortable with how much meat they're going to get back, make sure that they're getting the most value for their dollar, and that it's going to work the best for their family, and make sure that they are happy with the selection of the meat cuts that they get so it gets used. We don't want anything to go to waste if we can possibly help it. Another item on this page that we wanted to discuss is the different types of packaging. So when you're talking to your farmer, you'll want to ask them how the meat will be packaged. Is the meat going to be packaged in a vacuum sealed packaging? Typically, vacuum sealed packaging is going to be the longest lasting for your meat. So if you are ordering for a year ahead of time, and it's going to take your family a year to eat your all the cuts and go through it, you're probably going to want to get the vacuum sealed packaging. It's got a full year, can even get a little bit longer than a year out of that vacuum sealed packaging if it's treated well. This will allow you to be able to see the different cuts. Everything will come labeled, so customers that want to be able to see those cuts will be able to see them when it's the vacuum sealed packaging. And that's really what our customers really prefer, is they want to be able to see it, they want to know what it is from the label, and be able to know what they're going to be making as they do it, as they pull it out of the freezer. Another type of packaging is paper wrap. So this is a question that you're going to want to ask your farmer so you know what to expect. Is it going to be vacuum sealed packaging or is it going to be paper wrapped? Vacuum sealed is going to be clear packaging where you can see the meat, and it's also going to give you the longest freezer life for your meat. Freezer burn happens to your meat or your vegetables or different things in your freezer when air comes in contact with it and it dries out and gets that freezer burn on the meat. We don't want that freezer burn, and the vacuum sealed packaging gives you the best coverage so that doesn't happen, as long as you don't, as long as the vacuum seal stays strong for that meat. The paper wrap, when we've gotten paper wrap done at the butcher shop, it is where the meat is put into a plastic bag, the air is pushed out to the best of their ability, it's twisted shut, and then a paper wrap is then put around for a second layer of protection around the meat. You won't be able to visualize the meat because it's covered in that paper wrap, but it gives a really nice old school farm, old butcher type of feel when you've got all that, when you're looking and purchasing or getting that meat. I really like it because the vacuum seal, if it's handled often or handled roughly, can lose the vacuum seal, where with the paper wrap, you don't have to worry about it. But our customers really prefer the vacuum sealed packaging, so that's typically what we use. The paper wrap stays good for about 6 months is what's recommended with the paper wrap. We've have had it and tested to see whether or not it stays good for longer than 6 months, and it has done well for us. But that is what's recommended, is 6 months with the packaging. Another question to ask your local farmer is if the meat is going to come frozen or if it's going to come fresh. Typically what will happen is the butcher or processor will freeze the meat, and that way it's easier to transport, and your freezer at home, and for safety standards, it's easier to have that meat frozen at the butcher and then delivered to you. So that may be something that you want to just double check on. And if you wanted it to be anything other than frozen, you would need to specify that with your farmer or butcher. And thank you for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. In the next video, we're going to start talking about the cost calculator when you're ordering beef from your local farmer.